Hi, Madhumita. Welcome to DC Conversations.
Thank you so much,
Why
Rishmi.
did the idea of remaking, KD for a Hindi audience occur to you?
I don't think it was an idea that came to me. I think it was more after KD, the Tamil version, received a lot of love. There were a lot of people who were reaching out asking, can we redo this in Hindi? Can we? I even had some requests from Korea because our culture is very similar to Korea, right? I
Yeah,
had people asking me about Malayalam, and different industries were reaching out to me, stroke to my producers, the original producers who are Saregama, asking about adapting this or remaking it in Hindi and other languages. And so when the opportunity came, I was quite particular that it was more of a adaptation rather than a remake, because I
mm,
have done the film once already in Tamil with an
mm,
80-year-old man and the little boy, and it received so much love, and it still continues to receive so much love. So
yeah,
if I'm going to make it again, then it's got to be a different experience for me and also for the audience who are watching it. So in from that perspective, I wanted to make sure that there was something different about it. And a Hindi audience is a larger audience, right?
mm,
And from that perspective, I had to make sure that, the talekutal and rituals like that will not connect in
mm,
Hindi, because that kind of a ritual does not exist here. They do something else, which is basically, when their family members or loved ones are either too aged or dealing with like a physical challenge or mental challenge, they go and abandon them at the Kumbh Mela or in
mm,
places like Varanasi and stuff. So, which
mm,
is why I decided that, if we were going to do it, then I want to write new characters. My story process always begins with characters. So,
mm,
I wanted to write new characters and have a different shade of those characters in the Hindi version before I made it, and made sure that it is, it rings true to the heartland that we're setting the story in. So being authentic to that was really important, which is why I generally like to avoid calling it a remake, because there are so many things that are different between the original and the Hindi version.
How do you think your, South Indian filmmaking background will influence your Bollywood debut?
Reshmi, I honestly believe, there's a legendary filmmaker down south called K. Vishwanath Garu.
Yeah.
And he is like very experienced and he's made lots of beautiful, stunning films. When I met him once, he told me, Madhumita, just make sure, when he was advising me, he was telling me that just make sure that, your films, the human emotions are universal. So then
True.
language is not a barrier anymore, you
Yeah.
know and
Yeah.
and his films resonated with all India audience, or even sometimes internationally, because the human emotion in it was universal. So I think my experience, of course, I've done six, this is my sixth film. So I've done five other films and an anthology down south in both Tamil and then one in Telugu. And I think that experience has definitely shaped me as a filmmaker. I feel when I look at myself a bit more cynically, I realize that, I have improved my craft with every film. I have learned, I have gotten better at
Mm,
storytelling. And I
mm,
hope I continue to be getting better with every film that I make. And what I bring with it, I think, is a original voice, which, if I can take the liberty of saying, is something that only um, my voice is something that only I can speak about, because
yeah.
from
Absolutely.
every filmmaker has their own perspective, right? What experiences shape them, what exposure in their life shape them, which age they are at. All of that will decide the kind of films you make, right? For
Mm,
me, if you see, my very first film I directed when I was 22 years old, and it was a divorce drama that went on to win the state government award. Now, when
mm,
I see that film 15 years later, today, when I see, there are so many things that I realized that I could have added to that film, because
mm,
at 22 मेरा life में उतना ही exposure था. There's only so much I knew at 22, so I could make that film at that point. Whereas now, at like, I think it's been 37, 38, whatever the age. But my point is, at this point, closer to 40, I realized that there is so much more life experiences. You meet different kinds of people, you come across different kinds of experiences, and that shapes you to be the filmmaker, which is why I say my experiences have shaped me to be the filmmaker. And that is the voice that I bring to any language, regardless of whether it's Bollywood or, tomorrow if I'm making an international film, even that will be unique because my experiences shape my voice. And so only I have lived my experiences, therefore my voice will be unique.
And why did you pick Abhishek for this, and how was the experience like working with him?
I think I'm definitely grateful to Mr. Nikhil Advani for introducing me to Abhishek and, in fact, suggesting Mr. Abhishek Bachchan. And then when I went and met AB sir, it was great because that first vibe, that first energy, when I told him what I wanted to do with this film, there was so much sincerity in the way he heard the story. There was a lot of
Mm,
respect. There was a lot of deep thinking involved, And then once he heard it at the end of the conversation, he said, when are we going to shoot this? Right? Which was a big boost for me because, I mean, come on, we have to be true. All of us grew up watching Amitabh Sir, and he's one of the main reasons why many of us come into cinema, right?
yeah,
So, to have someone from the first family, and Mr. Abhishek Bachchan has stood his own ground with, 25 years of cinema, having made such versatile characters and,
choices. Yeah.
played so many different things. And to get that kind of validation from him to say that, when are we shooting this was a great starting point. And then, of course, the journey was amazing because he was very respectful. He always heard me out, and we used to have multiple discussions about what this character is like, what kind of journey the character will go through, the little nuances in the body language, the costume, the look, the makeup. We discussed
Mm,
everything, and then we even did a few readings with Devik, the Baloo who plays Baloo, the little boy who plays Baloo. And then, we workshopped and we did all of that. And I think all of that kind of brought us in the same page with what we wanted to tell about Kalidhar. And then the shooting experience was
mm,
fabulous. It's crazy because the very first day that I shot with him, you are used to seeing Abhishek Bachchan, right? Very stylish, very like posh, very educated, very sophisticated, and all of that. And so
yeah.
for that very first scene, which is the scene in the Bhojpur Mandir that we shot, when he showed up, the first shot that we took with him was actually making him climb those steps to the top. And he helps a lady with her bags and everything, and that is the first shot of Abhishek sir in the film. And I was just completely taken aback by how he had transformed into Kalidhar. There was so much innocence, there was so much simplicity, there was so much realness to the character that that one moment where your director basically feels like, okay, I've done it right, this is
Yeah.
great casting, I've done it correctly, because I think our industry as creators, we are, of course, we get all the bouquets and the brickbats, but then there's this constant need for validation because
Mm,
you're trying something new, you're creating art, you don't know how people are going to receive it. So that very first thing that validates your thing, that this casting was perfect. And throughout the journey, and I say this with the utmost respect, it is every director's dream to work with Amitabh sir. Like, how it is a dream to work with Rajnikant sir. I've directed Kamal sir already, so that's one thing off my bucket list. But
mm.
um, like that, I think Amitabh sir, it's always a dream, and I would be blessed if I ever got a chance to direct him. But I think nobody other than Abhishek Bachchan could have pulled off Kalidhar the way he did. So I am extremely grateful for him for bringing Kalidhar out the way he did.
What aspects of the movie do you think will appeal to the Hindi audience? Of course, we spoke about emotions, but what other aspects do you think will actually appeal to them?
I always believe this, right? There are different films that you watch in a theater. There are different films you watch on OTT in a personal viewing setting, right? For me, KD and Kalidhar both have always been a very personal film, because it's something that you sit in the comfort of your home with your loved ones or by yourself, and you watch a film when you need a warm cup of chai or a hug from someone. That is the kind of film that it is, because and it's great. We get to see all these fabulous multi-starrers and action and great large-scale films in the theaters, right? But I feel like those are the like how sometimes when we're busy with work, रोज हम बाहर खाना खाते हैं, like Chinese, Italian, you eat all those different things, and then कभी कभी मन लगता है कि घर का खिचड़ी you want to eat, दाल खिचड़ी homemade, या mom के हाथ का curd rice, simple things like that. That is your comfort food, right? I think
Mm,
KD and Kalidhar, the intention with which it was made is to give that little bit of hope when the world seems very dark. No matter
mm,
where you are, which part of the world that you are, you might have had a bad day, and then you watch this and you realize that jitna bhi life kharab ho yaar, there will be somebody, there is light at the end of the tunnel.
yeah,
And I don't think that's specific to any one audience. I think it's
true.
specific to human beings wherever you are, right? Because we may be split by barriers and borders and all of that, but this feeling of being wanted, or the
Mm.
feeling of not wanting to feel alone,
It's
wanting to have
universal.
some
Yeah.
family, is universal where
Yes,
you are. So I
absolutely.
think I'm hoping that KD and Kalidhar in that sense will provide that little bit of comfort when you're feeling alone.
What do you have coming up next after this?
So I have to tell you, Reshmi, I'm quite a bit of a workaholic, and people who work with me know that very well. I have a psychological thriller in Tamil coming up. That is, we are going into shoot in September, so I'm prepping for that right now. And then I have a hostage drama action with in Telugu, which is a slightly bigger budget and a larger cast kind of thing. That is for a OTT platform, but a big one.
So, who is
And
the
then
lead character, if I may ask?
so
Because,
we
I'm
can't
from
reveal it
Hyderabad.
yet. Ah, nice. I can't reveal it yet. I don't have authority to reveal it yet, but we are very excited. It's one of my favorite stars, and I was fangirling when I met him. That's all I can tell you right now. I
Amazing.
was like, sir, give me 5 minutes. I need to be your fangirl right now first, and then I will become the director and I will become all polished. So that is that. And then I also have a international project that's in development, which is a monster film. I want to try my hand at different genres. I believe I'm genre agnostic, so I want to play with all these genres. So I'm very grateful. I think it's in today's time and the how tough the market is. I'm
Yeah.
very grateful that there is work coming my way, and I will do my very best. I will work my very hardest, but I promise that it will be with the same amount of love and heart that KD and Kalidhar have had.
So, all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
for
much. I
talking
look
to us such
forward.
a